Hello everyone, welcome to the Ranting Shop with me, Melissa. Today we're doing Ready to Love Season 6, Episode 4. In this episode, the women, of course, have the power to determine who they want to let go. And we start off with Tommy letting them know that there's gonna be a white party and everybody's excited because they get to dress up and so on. The first date we end up seeing is with Jamala and Justice, I think. Yes, let's just say Jamala and Justice. And the more we see and hear Justice, the more it rings true to a lot of us, especially women, that this man is or appears to be the typical misogynistic, red pill participant type of man. He wants a woman to make their interest known to him. And then, I guess if he feels like, okay, I like you too, then he pursues the woman. But what turns a lot of people off about the way Justice speaks is that he keeps mentioning that he's not gonna pay for any date. He's not gonna spend money. If it's there, it's there. Basically, he doesn't really want to court a woman. He just wants the interest to be there mutually and take it from there. That to me doesn't make any sense. And he doesn't make any sense. Now, if he doesn't end up living on his own, I sincerely believe he's the one that's gonna be sent home because he makes absolutely no sense. As I said numerous times, I do not think Justice is interested in any of these women. I feel like he just came on the show for the opportunity to be exposed, for people to know him, and that's it. Remember, the people that come on this show, people believe that these people primarily just sign up on their own. Most of the time, they have no interest in the show. They're being scouted by production agents or whatever the case may be. So these people are deciding to accept an offer, but it's not something that they ever initially wanted to do. So I think that is a big reason as to why a lot of the men that come on the show, they don't seem like they're ready to love, because they're not. And they came on the show simply because they were asked to come and they felt like, okay, it would be a good opportunity for exposure. And that's it. And I think that's what we see here with Justice. And a lot of the men that have made themselves look less than smart in past episodes, I think they sincerely need to change the way that they go about getting contestants for their show. Because if you're approaching somebody who's not shown interest in or anything pertaining to the show, then no wonder they come on the show and they seem like they're not interested. You know what I mean? It's because they just say, okay, whatever. You know, and they do it. Anyway, so we have that. Jamala, the more Justice speaks, the more Jamala looks like, damn, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. It's like every word Justice says just makes her feel like, okay, there's no hope there. Like, there's no need for me to force anything there. There's no hope there. Like, the way he thinks is not aligned with the way I think. And I don't think it aligns with any of the way the other women think. So I think that his time is very much numbered at this point. The same Justice that was popular with the women, it's crazy to see the metamorphosis of that and how it's just turned into literally nothing. Like, you would swear that he doesn't have or never had any connection. But there's that. Then let's move on quickly to the date with Kayla and Randall. Now, I keep calling Randall Walter, I don't know why, or Wendell. His name is Randall. So he went on a date with Kayla. Remember, he stated that he had 3 interests: Jamala, Tranica, and Kayla. So he's going to feel out Kayla. I do see that there's some type of chemistry there. Miss Kayla states that, she's going for the person she's not the most attracted to, but she is attracted to Randall at the same time. They have a lot of sexual, chemistry and so on. And there were some sexual puns and innuendos when she tried that piece of steak. But overall, I don't know if that's his best fit. For some reason, I feel as if I don't really see Kayla. Like, I don't see her rawness. I don't see her vulnerability. I don't really see too much of her inside, like how she really is. What I see is just like more so like a surface level type of Kayla. I don't really know who Kayla is. I don't know if she stated that she wanted children or did not want children. I'm not too sure of that. Or the amount of children she wants is not as much as the amount Randall wants. I'm not too sure. But they definitely had a good date. He picked her up. It was a cool date. Do I think that that's his best connection? No. So far, I think probably Chanika is his best connection. But of course, as the show goes on, who knows, things might change. He then goes on a date with Jamala. Now we know that he also has a connection with her. Now his date with Jamala was more so, it reminded me like of a friendship. And he states that it's easy to talk to Jamala. She has a thing about her where you want to, be around her and connect with her. And that's awesome. And that may very well take Jamala to the end. Who knows? Because I don't really see Jamala with anyone else, to be honest with you. I do actually, talking of Swayze, I do probably see her with him, with her actually. I think they make a better fit. I think her and Randall are just more so friends. It just comes off very friendly. Not that it's not a good basis for a relationship, but that's all I see with them. What else did we see? We saw Alonzo speak with Miss Charisse, and she keeps reiterating that that's not her type. She thinks he's boring, which just leads me to believe, considering the guy she was attracted to, Devin, seemed very much toxic. She just likes toxic guys. For her, toxicity is what excites her. And if at 40-something years old, that's what excites you, then you have an issue with you. Because if you're gonna compare Devin to Alonzo, we all see like the very clear red flags with Devin, like not being a part of his child's life, like just having all these issues with like maybe poor home training and all these types of things. Like, if that's what you want, well, good for you. Like, I don't know what to tell Cherise. She seems very superficial to me. But anyway, she's talking to Alonzo. She says she's keeping her options open. I just feel like she's trying to stay as long as she can. So we learned that Alonzo was in a relationship for like 7 years. And a lot of the time, people tell you, women specifically, that if a man has been with you for like 7 years, 5 years, and he's not proposed to you or anything of that sort, he simply doesn't want to marry you. It's that simple sometimes. It's literally that simple. Because I guarantee you, if a man wants to marry you, he's gonna lock you down in a very short period of time, because he doesn't want other guys to get a chance with you. He wants you to be his ASAP. You know what I'm saying? And so when a guy stays with you for so long and you have to force him and keep bringing up, when you're going to marry me, when you're going to marry me, we've been together for so long. Don't ever pressure a man to marry you, because if he wanted to, he would. When you pressure a man to marry you, what Alonzo did is exactly what that man is going to do to you. He's going to buy you a ring and propose to you, not because he wanted to, but because you're pressuring him to, and he likes where he is with you. He likes that it's comfortable. He likes that he's getting all the benefits from you while he searches for the person he really wants to be with. He likes that intermediary type of period. And he doesn't want that to go. He doesn't want it to end. So you know what? You're pressuring him to make you happy. He's gonna buy you a ring and propose to you. Because guess what? That's gonna make you shut up, and it's gonna make him have more time with you and get the benefits from you while he continues to search for the person he really wants to be with. And unfortunately, but commendably at the same time, he did propose to the woman, and he said that it was because of the pressure that he felt. But I have to applaud him, because after he did it, he realized he didn't do it for himself. He did it for her. And the next day, he took the ring back. Now, that seems quite harsh. It seems extremely harsh, but it's better that he decided to take the ring back the next day than to have her thinking that it's something that he really wants, go marry her, whole time not really loving her, whole time not really wanting to be with her, and end up in a situation where he married somebody he doesn't really like, doesn't love. That's even worse, and that's even more painful. So with Cherise hearing that, of course, it appears that that is a big red flag, right? Why would you propose to somebody that you're not interested in? And he states that he felt pressured, so he did what he felt he needed to do. And Cherise was like, well, I don't want any man not being sure of me or whatever. That's very, very justified to have those red flags about Alonzo, because he did kind of break with the pressure, as opposed to just being a man and saying to the woman, I don't want to marry you. But a lot of the time, it's more complex than that. Like, the man wants to still have the benefits of you. So to outright say he doesn't want to marry you or be with you cuts that right off. And so he doesn't get anything in the end. But to go along with things, you kind of benefit yourself in a sense, But anyways, that happened. So Cherise addressed the situation with the Mike about, the red flag thing, the baggage thing, and he's telling her, you're 45 years old and you don't have a kid. That's a red flag. That's really not a red flag. I just feel like he wanted to hurt her or cut her back, because he felt like she cut him because of her referring to his kids as baggage. So I'm happy he apologized. However, it still shows that Mike is a type of person where if you cut him, he's not gonna take the higher road and leave the conversation. He's gonna also cut you back, and in that situation, it just never airs well for anybody in that situation, because you might say something that you might regret. So there's nobody there in Cherise and Mike's situation that's gonna ever say, okay, let me just leave the conversation because I feel like he's gonna get disrespectful. So anyways, he apologized, and I'm happy that he did. And Cherise and Mike have established that it's just gonna be a friendship. Okay, so there's nothing romantic that's gonna come from them. So I guess Jamala, Mike, Kadian, and Shakira decided to have an after show after Cherise and Mike's situation to rehash it, speak about it, talk about how he handled it and so on. And then it got to a point where Shakira did not want any parts of the conversation, and she was getting up to leave when Kadian mentioned, basically trying to explain to Mike, oh, it's because of her past trauma. First of all, why would Kadian do that? And second of all, why does she feel the need to explain somebody else who is there to explain by themselves situation to Mike? Mike didn't need any explanation. The girl simply said she didn't like the way the conversation was heading and she wanted to leave. Why couldn't it be left at that? Why did it have to be a situation where oh, let me explain why she's leaving. Oh, it's because of this trauma. That, how do you know that? How do you know what it is or why it is that she's leaving in that moment? You don't. You're just assuming. You're making assumptions and possibly wrong assumptions. So I completely understand why she would be upset. She meaning Shakira would be upset and still decide to leave, because you don't get to tell other people about my issues. You don't get to explain to other people why I'm reacting in a way that I'm reacting, because you don't know why I'm reacting that way. So in that case, I was like, Kadian. People like to speak on the wigs in this season, and I must say that they're really bad. I particularly don't like Tranika's wig because it looks very fake. It looks like a wig. And I also don't like Kayla's wig because it looks like a wig. There's literally no edges there. Like, she has no defined edges and no clear separation. It just looks like she has a mop on her head. I don't like it. But moving forward, she and Randall are talking about Jamala, and the way she's speaking to Randall, it almost seems like she's jealous of the connection Randall has with Jamala, because she's mentioning seeing Jamala's butt online and all these other things, which is completely irrelevant, because at the end of the day, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to be strengthening your relationship with your potential partner, not, referring to other women that person has a connection with, not putting them down in a way to put yourself up. Nah. I think it definitely turned Randall off, because in his mind he's thinking, why are you worried about Jamal and what she has going on, and why is your intention to kind of degrade her, so to speak, in my presence? Like, of course he's not gonna look at Kayla and think, oh, that's an admirable quality, and nobody is gonna think that way either. But again, it's jealousy. Like, a man juggling 3 women, you want to be the only woman, and it almost feels like some women would do anything to be the only woman, even if it means dragging another woman. That's why I tell you guys, you see this whole thing about women empowerment and women empowering other women, that goes into the trash when a man comes into the picture. Put a man in the midst of all that women empowerment nonsense, and you will see how competitive the women get and how low they are willing to get the man. It's disgusting. And when men think they're the prize, you guys want to say that they're not. They are the prize. They are, because you guys literally fight for them. LJ and, of course, Looney are vibing. He's talking about Mexico and painting out this picture of this, like, romantic night or whatever. They're rocking and rolling, as she said. We see LJ with Shakira, and I've been wondering what's happened with LJ and Shakira. And let's see what happens. So Miss Shakira is feeling as if, like, how come LJ only called me one time? And then his response is, but you didn't answer, knowing good well that she called him back. Like, why are guys like this, you guys? Like, if I called you back, why would you make reference to the fact that I didn't answer? Didn't I call you back though? That's just insane. And bear in mind, he's been calling Looney a lot, so clearly he likes Looney more. Like, it's just obvious that he likes Looney more, even if you're kind of supposed to keep it open and keep it even. He's clearly showing that he's more interested in Looney than Shakira. Just tell her that. Also, we saw Kadian and Swayze, and that's another connection I feel like that will possibly do very well, but I'm not quite sure, because Kadian is, like, very strong and guarded and a little blunt, and I don't know how that will fare in the long run. I mean, they have their little chemistry and so on, but as far as who Kadian is and who Swayze is, I'm not sure if that's gonna mesh very well together. And I think people expected Swayze to be this playboy, but actually Swayze seems to be more so of a single dater. Like, he can date one person at a time, but he's not used to dating multiple people or women at the same time. So he's sticking to Kadian for now. I don't know how long that's gonna last. So Tommy had his wife go out and basically speak to the contestants about her process with him and how like they work it out despite whatever disagreement and so on and so forth. So that's basically what she's doing. She's making her rounds and answering questions. So Tommy's wife is speaking to Kayla and Mike, and they go on the topic of basically he didn't really have much to say about Kayla, only that she's a pretty person or nice person, but beyond that there's like nothing there. She mentioned that his age is the preferred age for her, and he's talking about her age is not the preferred age for him, but he'll tolerate it. It seemed like a joke, but it's 100% real, because I remember on the bowling date he also was like referring to her as young and whatever. So it doesn't seem to me that her age appeals to him very much. I mean, is it just me, or do I just not sense any amount of genuine energy from Cherise? She just seems so fake to me. Like her interaction with Samson, it was making me cringe. Like, not because there's this outward thing, but I just don't think that she's being truthful. I feel as if she's not attracted to any of these guys, and she's just trying to stay as long as she can. I do not see a genuine interest in any of these guys for her. So Shakira is talking to Randall, and of course this past trauma thing builds up, and we don't quite know what the issue is with Shakira. We know she was divorced, but she did make reference to her son being privy to seeing a lot of bad things, but we don't know what it is. Like, she has never disclosed like what the trauma is, but it appears that it must have been something serious, because she keeps bringing it up and talking about how she is careful about how she disseminates that information. But anyways, do I see anything with her and Randall? Nope, I do not. But they look like they could be good friends. And I also want to add that Shakira dresses like in the early 2000s or something. She dresses really colorfully and big bright colors and big bold eyeshadows, and I just wish she'd just simmer it down a bit with her makeup and just those flowers in her hair. My gosh. Not LJ giving them people a wicked Caribbean wine. That was so funny to see LJ dancing like Caribbean men. But anyways, Shakira is now talking to Samson. So Justice like literally dipped out. He said he had a grand opening to attend to, and he left. He didn't announce it to anybody. He just told Jamala, and I'm pretty sure production knew, but of course he didn't know Tommy. I think if Justice didn't leave, he would be the one sent home. But of course we were left on a cliffhanger, and they called out LJ, Zoe, and Justice, and because Justice wasn't there, I was certain that there wouldn't be any decision on this particular episode, but next week there would be a continuation, and I just don't see the point of Justice being there, to be honest. So he's the one I want to leave, but we don't know how things are gonna end up working. Then we see Alonzo calling Cherise fake. It could possibly be because she shows interest in him, but she's not really interested in him. Who knows? Or he heard something through the grapevine of whatever some woman said. Who knows? And then Shakira is letting Tommy know that a lot of the personal things she shared with the women, they've told the men behind her back and also in front of her face, and that really upsets her, because she feels as if her right to share her own personal journey has kind of been robbed and taken away from her, and it's something that she had no control over. And maybe the issue is that lack of control, even when you feel like okay, I feel empowered. I'm choosing to tell my story. I'm choosing to do this, for somebody to then go ahead and just decide that, oh, let me tell her story for her. I understand how frustrating and upsetting that could be. And so I completely empathize with her in that regard. Do I feel like Shakira is ready to be in a relationship or ready for love per se? Not really. I feel like there's a lot of things that she still needs to work on and work through that clearly still bothers her, and I hope that she's able to go or get through those things. Anyways, you guys, let me know what you thought about this episode. Like, subscribe. See you next time for another review. From me, Melissa, in the ranting shop. See you next time. Bye.